Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wildcard Wednesday, October 7th, 2009. On this episode, I'm going to create a unique Thanksgiving card. The supplies you're going to need are this alpine ribbon, it's felt, some twine, some Versamark. We're also going to be using from the much appreciated stamp set, the one that just says thanks. Some pumpkin pie cardstock cut 4 by 5 inches, the top note die cut for the big shot, and just a variety of the Razzleberry Designer paper. We're going to be cutting it into strips. Some chocolate chip cardstock cut 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And out of the craft cardstock, just a basic card cut 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. We're also going to be using some Whisper White cardstock, and again that's cut about 4 by 5. To begin with, we're going to take our various strips of designer paper and actually cut it into approximately 1/2 inch strips. They don't have to be straight, just cut them in different strips approximately 1/2 inch wide and glue them on top of the white cardstock piece. Then you're going to take your scissors and trim off the excess pieces of cardstock. And as you can see, I just used a scratch piece of Whisper White I had used for another project. So it's not important that this is a brand new piece of Whisper White cardstock. I then placed our finished trim piece through the big shot with the top note die and cut out a piece with the printed papers as well as the pumpkin pie cardstock piece. I then trimmed into the inside stitch mark of the big note so that the orange pumpkin pie piece could become a mat. Using chocolate chip ink and a sponge dauber, I inked all around the edges of our newly trimmed piece with the printed papers and then glued it on top of the orange cardstock. The paper strips, you'll notice some of them are not straight, but that just adds to the whimsy of this particular card. Next, you're going to cut this piece in half down the middle and put one aside to create another card and ink the unfinished edge. We'll put that aside for a moment and take our chocolate chip cardstock piece, which is now going to become our card front. We're going to take the thanks sentiment and the Versamark, and we're going to just simply stamp thanks randomly all over this card front. So now I'm going to take that half of big note and glue it on the side edge of the card. Next, I'm going to take a piece of the alpine ribbon and glue it along the other side and adhering it on the back side just with a strip of adhesive. Now I'll take another piece of the ribbon and create kind of a mock bow, just a shorter piece, and just tie it in a simple knot in the card front and trim it just so that it kind of looks like a bow. It's kind of the easy way to tie a bow. And then I took some twine and did the same thing. I tied it kind of around the knot, but then I actually tied the twine into a little bow. Just before I mount the card front onto the craft card, I've rounded the corners and inked the craft card, and then just took some foam dimensional tape to adhere the card front. At this point, the card seems to me that it needs a little bit more pop. So I took my tag punch and my 3 flowered punch and some more of that printed paper and added a tag embellishment. I again stamped the sentiment thanks on some craft cardstock, and then I wrote in matching marker in my own handwriting give, and then punched it out with the tag punch. I also took some chocolate chip ink and inked all around the tag. I then took the crocodile using the smaller hole punch, punched a hole, and then set a little chocolate brown eyelet at the end of the tag. I then used some twine that I had put through a large darning needle and attached that through the tag, tied a little knot, and then attached it to the card front. Finally, I took my 3-flower punch and some razzleberry printed paper and punched out one of the 3 flowers. I then took some more ink, inked the flower, and then adhered the little flower to the front of the tag. I would also like to just mention one change that I made. I changed the fold of my card because I kind of wanted it to, I thought it looked much better opening this way than a top open. So here we have our whimsical Thanksgiving card, just for that really funky friend you may have. And so to all of the Canadians, have a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see everyone else next week. Bye-bye.